Stopper. 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 Stopper.
Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Absolutely doing well. Today I want to talk about the shop, I don't know, the market patches, products, or whatever you call these products. Konami gave us David Alaba, Showtime, and Darwin Nunez, two players who were out of their prime. I would say one of them had a bad career at Liverpool, I would say, and David Alaba, I think injuries just couldn't allow him to play more at Real Madrid, yeah. So how does David Alaba and Darwin Nunez improve your squad? Well, in terms of bullet header, which is Darwin Nunez, is something that has been rare. If you didn't get Gurasi from the divisions, you have a chance to get Darwin Nunez from just giving Konami like money, like $1.99, I guess. No, it's 0.99 cents, which is approximately, all packages $1 something. Then David Alaba is $1.99, I guess, or $1 something. I'm not quite sure, or $2 now something. I think it's $2. Are these two guys worth it? That's the question. Are these two guys worth it? I would say we're here to find out, and I'm quite impressed and quite not impressed with one of them. Now, in terms of Darwin Nunez, you've already seen Alaba, so there's no need to too much talk about him. He can play as a second striker, he can play as a left winger, he can play as a centre forward. I advise you to use him as a centre forward and as a second striker if you can get the position proficiency. Most of the time when I cross with Marcelo, the last player to get on the ball will be Pele. So I need to put position proficiency and put Darwin Nunez as a second striker, which will be a much more interesting fallout for him with that position. We'll see how it goes. So Darwin Nunez has played approximately 60 games, and those are 60 PvP games. Most of them are division games. 32 goals, 4 assists. He had a very slow start, but as time went on, this guy became a hero, a phenomenal. He has been scoring goals for me. He has been clutch, especially when I face really strong division players, which have defenders like Thuram, Deletas, Cannavaro, Chiellini, Bonucci. He's able to salvage a goal. The other weakness I see with this card is he doesn't have dribbling skills. So that's a problem, because when you try to dribble past an opponent or try to do some skills, he won't be able to get away. But if you give him skills like cut behind the 10, flip flop, master 10, with those type of skills, he might get special double touch with soul control also on him. That will help him get that special double touch and become a much more dangerous weapon. Well, bullet headers. What is bullet header? Bullet header it's a skill that was implemented in the game that allows the player to hit the ball much more with more power, I guess, with much more force. It's one of the biggest skills in the game right now, in terms of if you're a cross spammer or you like to cross the ball a lot, you can use the skill. But another skill which I want to talk about is much more of a defensive skill, isn't it? Which is long reach tackle, which David Alaba has the skill. This is what makes David Alaba a much more of a usable card, and he can play in most of the positions: central center back, DMF, CMF, left mid, left wing, left back. But I would say this card has lost its pace. Like the player, like David Alaba's player ID, he is much more of a left back position player and much more of a central midfield or DMF midfield type of player. At center back, when I used him, I felt a bit insecure. But when it comes to close duels, the ground duels with that long reach tackle, he was able to intercept, but I didn't feel safe with him. You might say a skill issue, but it's these effects. So how do you build him? I think you can give him like 90 speed, which you have to be forced to salvage some progression points from defensive stats and add to that speed like 88, 89, 90. But I suggest 90 because 90 is more like now the threshold for most cards like center backs like Cannavaro. They have crazy speed and acceleration and you know what goes on. So David Alaba, he could be instrumental, right? If you don't have a proper CB, like in the daily game we get Akanji who is quite taller than him. So if you can get Akanji and David Alaba, you are set to have a good defensive duo. But don't trust on these cards. Why? They are one thing, they are short time cards. But David Alaba is a very good skill, long range tackle, which will compensate a lot of those disadvantages on him. So is it worth it for $2 or so? Possibly for the skill, yeah. For the skill, I would say, and for the versatility of the card, I would say. I would like to try him as a DMF, isn't it? Why not? Let's try him as a DMF and see how it goes. And in defense, I feel maybe in other places like long ball counter, he might be much more better. But in possession game where you're consistently tested by through balls, low ball, his height, and which is quite decent, but not up to the standards. It's just not going to work, isn't it? It's not going to work. He kind of gives you that build-up possession game style of passing. His better ball control. He can't pass the ball. So I felt like maybe using him as a defensive midfield, let him do the dirty work up front there before the open actually arrives. It will be an interesting fallout on the card, isn't it? Just Buff is passing such a beat, like 85 low pass, lofted pass like 81 is decent as a DMF. Why not use him as a DMF? With 87 speed, it's not that bad. With 80 acceleration, so the pace is not that bad. It's there. Jump 90, physical quarter 90, defensive stats are there. So he will be kind of like your first defensive player when you are defending, isn't it? It's better that way than using him as a center back. This is my own point of view as a possession gamer, as a long-lasting player in this game. I feel like he is more of a DMF, isn't it? When I first saw this card, I thought he was a DMF-oriented card. You know, so how much do I rate this card? I would say approximately, at best, talking about the skill, which is really worth a lot, the price, the player, ID, everything about David Alaba, I would say he's a solid 7.0 to 7.5. Nothing less than that. The skill, the play ID, the stats, everything compensates itself. So he is a 7.5, including the short time parts that is minus 5 points. So he's a 7.0 to 7.5. You can't rely on him. He can enter D or E form and you can't use him. That's the problem. That's why they say you must target epic cards. So enough about David Alaba. Let's talk about Darwin Nunez, the talk of the town, the man that we need to talk about. He was 0.99 coins, like cents. So approximately, with counting the tax and everything, he might be dollar something. So I'm going to compare him to Sergio Guirassy, the division push, the rank push card, which most people didn't get. Didier Drogba, which most people didn't get, but most people did get. If you didn't get Guirassy, you would probably get Drogba. If you didn't get both, you have a chance to get Darwin Nunez, who is absolutely guaranteed. So, which card is the best among these three? I'm bringing in Drogba because he is the pivotal point of bullet header. He is the definition. He's one of the best bullet headers, if not the best. Like, he walks in the paths of Cristiano Ronaldo, the bullet header version. I cannot name any other bullet header versions which are better than Ronaldo, Drogba, these kind of legends. Talking about stats, you can see Drogba is a little bit having an edge in most of the stats. But I'm also seeing Darwin Nunez is much more better in terms of kicking power, speed, acceleration, which is something Darwin Nunez is actually good at. If Darwin Nunez had better ball treatments, he would have been a much more better player among these three, isn't it? Before we talk about player module, which is the player ID, he would have been a much more better player. But because he gets kicking power, speed, acceleration, pace, that gives him a much more edge with a much more of a personal training. There's 90 physics, there's 90 jump. You see, maintaining the speed like to 90 plus, like 91, 92, which makes him much more of a pretty much usable player. He's not as clunky, but he is clunky. That's why you need skills on him where you can get away from defenders easily. But he's the explosive type of player. If you have, I think it is Liverpool version, which I have once used. The problem with Darwin Nunez, he misses the simplest chances and scores the hardest chances. So if this card had bullet header and phenomenal finishing, that would have been a much more bigger W, but he would have been not costing 0.999. I would say David Alaba in exchange of Darwin Nunez in terms of price tag, then give Darwin Nunez an extra skill would be good. Now, looking at the player module, you can see Drogba dominates a lot. He is absolutely unmatchable. Darwin Nunez is sort of like close, but in between. He's more like the in-between part of Sergio Guirassy and Drogba, and the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Cristiano Ronaldo. Close to Cristiano Ronaldo, but not close enough. So how do I rate this card? Honestly speaking, he didn't start well, but when I gave him skills, when I found a way to use him, with Marcelo crossing sometimes and everything just working well, joining the attack on the corner kicks, playing through balls, spamming possible through balls every time, Darwin Nunez has always found a goal. He's always found a chance. He's always done something for me. He has pulled me out in much more of the most difficult moments in match days against pros, against Crazy Cutler, Bonucci, Chiellini, Cannavaro, Thuram, those kind of guys, Ronald Koeman, you can name them, Rio Ferdinand, Rafael Varane. He has managed to beat those players, but he's an F2P type of player. He's not a pay to win. It's just a bullet at a short time was in A form, and you get into worse form. We don't know how he'll perform, but in A form he was good. Is it worth it? I think he is. Rating 8.0 to 8.5. If I'm being fair, he can't be any other, considering the skill only and the player ID and the skill stats and the price tag. He's an 8.0 to 8.5. So I hope this video has been helpful. I know you watched some reviews on this type of cards. They've told you everything they could tell you, but this is my complete and honest review. If you can rewatch this video, I would appreciate it. This is my own point of view as an F2P type of play. I know how these cards operate, how to use them, how to maximize them. So this is it about the two cards. I'll be dropping more videos. An interesting update is coming later on today already. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.